ES Audio.
Hello, I'm David Marsland, and this is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, can beer be good for a man's belly? But first, Elon Musk's been hit with a sudden lawsuit over Dogecoin, and the complainant wants $258 billion. It's been filed in New York by Keith Johnson, who claims he was defrauded by the Tesla founder, who regularly tweeted about the cryptocurrency last year as it surged in value before crashing. Mr. Johnson says Doge is a pyramid scheme, and Musk used his pedestal as the world's richest man to manipulate it for profit, exposure and amusement. Mr. Musk has yet to comment on the case. Before it was filed, he was talking to Twitter staff in a virtual Q&A as he negotiates a $44 billion takeover. He told them he wanted to get 1 billion users on the platform, saying it would be the most explicit definition of inclusiveness. It currently has around 230 million daily users. It's emerged almost a third of all the electric vehicle charging points available in the UK are in London. More than 10,000 have been installed in the capital, including around 750 rapid charging devices that can recharge a car in 20 minutes.
It's really important that we try and explain to people in a non-patronising way there are alternatives to the really polluting vehicles that sometimes people rely upon.
It comes as the Evening Standard launches its Plug It In campaign to highlight the benefits and explore the challenges of the capital going electric. It's backed by London Mayor Sadiq Khan.
What we need, though, is support from the government in relation to infrastructure, but also subsidies for the transition from a polluting vehicle to an electric one.
And a London-based tech firm claims it's created a device that can cut roadside pollution exposure in humans by up to 91%.
There's two very small spots that get installed into the road. They're connected underground to a roadside air cleaning station. These items are already used traditionally in the roadway, normally for water drainage. We've actually re-engineered them to be able to suck in air.
Thomas Delgado from Pollution Solutions says the Roadvent can suck up nitrogen dioxide on the road before it reaches pavements, potentially offering an alternative to traffic bans.
So they start sucking in all of the pollution that is produced by the vehicles within almost like a bubble. The system then runs continuously until the vehicles have left, and it continues running for a short period of time afterwards.
Now, that's a polar bear, and this is a brown bear. They're considered different species, but scientists have discovered all brown bears living today have polar bear ancestry. It's after DNA was recovered from the 100,000-year-old remains of a polar bear found in Arctic Alaska in 2009. It's speculated there was a cross-hybridization around 125,000 years ago, leaving today's brown bears with up to 10% of polar in their genome. A beer belly has not been something to aspire to, but research suggests a beer a day can be good for your gut. A study by University of Lisbon served a lager over dinner to men aged between 23 and 58 and saw improvements in their intestinal health, including greater bacterial diversity. That's one beer and less than 330 millilitres before anyone gets excited. Also, it can be non-alcoholic and still give the same result. Beer is known to have microorganisms that impact the human gut. Imagine being able to interact with your computer without even touching it. Well, it's possible.
With totally floury hands, because she was making, I want to say samosas, it might have been chapatis, but she was making food in their kitchen, floury, dirty hands, wouldn't have wanted to touch the tech.
Motion Input V3 has been created by Intel and University College London and allows a user to control their computer with only speech and gestures.
And what it's doing is really complex measurements and tracking, and it's all around kind of distance measurement. It is measuring what you're doing, how you're moving, and it is translating that into an action that you want it to take.
That's Pippa Chick from Intel. She told us how the technology helps people with chronic conditions like motor neuron disease.
As you start to perhaps lose your grip strength and you can't hold a mouse, or perhaps you don't have the hand control that you used to, or you can't lift your hands and keep them lifted to interact with the keyboard, eye tracking would be super appropriate. Or even there's a fun one, fish face, you sort of make a pout.
The software uses AI machine learning and a webcam to respond.
Imagine interacting with Netflix where your eyes are scrolling down to look at the title that you want, and at the same time it's interacting with you and selecting that. You make one more movement and, a fish face, and that's clicking on the title that your eyes have scrolled down to look at.
Let's go to the ads. Coming up, how Bill Gates is trolling vaccine conspiracy theorists on Twitter. Why not give us a rate and follow? Welcome back. Now, not much is understood about long COVID right now, but it looks like there's less chance of people suffering from it. Researchers at King's College London say a study's shown the odds of experiencing the symptoms are up to 50% less if you catch the Omicron variant, which overtook the Delta one late last year. But it's still 1 in 23 people experiencing what can be highly debilitating conditions, including fatigue, shortness of breath and joint pain for 4 or more weeks after getting the initial illness. The ubiquitous "is it okay if we use cookies" pop-up days may be numbered. The government's proposing replacing the current system with an opt-out one where users can set their permissions inside their web browsers so you don't have to hit OK or decline every time. It's part of the data reform bill, which ministers say will revamp the UK's data laws for the digital age. Amazon's promising to fix Comixology 4 months after an outcry when it merged the comic reading app into Kindle. Users complained about issues including the loss of the double-page view and getting non-comic results in searches. The company released a statement on Twitter outlining changes in a forthcoming update and admitting a lot more needs to be done to improve the experience. And finally, Bill Gates has provoked the conspiracy theorists by joking the reason Internet Explorer's been killed off is because he's run out of microchips. The Microsoft founder was responding to a tweet from Trevor Noah's Daily Show that quipped about how the death of the browser came after Gates encouraged everyone to get vaccinated. A bizarre conspiracy theory claims the COVID vaccine puts chips in people's arms because reasons. Internet Explorer was retired earlier this week after 27 years serving the web because hardly anyone was using it. Not microchips. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Evening Standard's Leader podcast. This is the Tech and Science Daily. We're back on Monday.